So I mean, just looking at this Buck squad, obviously Doc Rivers taking over for Adrian Griffin.
Yeah.
Team has been struggling just a little bit in the Doc Rivers era. In your opinion, you get to see this team all the time. What's the Bucks' biggest issue right now?
Oh man, just trying to find, who we are as a basketball team, just an identity. And that was even an issue when we were rolling and had a really good record under Adrian Griffin, who is an outstanding person, really good coach. I think in a different scenario where the expectations were not quite as high, that he'd be the perfect man for a job like this. But this was a situation where it's championship or bust. And even that good record that we had was done with the softest schedule in the league the first half of the season. Our schedule, the second half, is the hardest schedule in the league. And so Adrian came in and wanted to reinvent some things that had been successful for the team under Mike Budenholzer. One of those was force more turnovers. Well, we were last in the league in turnovers, even though we had that great record. A lot of the stuff that he wanted to do, we last in the league in transition defense. It was just some glaring effort stats that just weren't coinciding with the team kind of coalescing and coming together like you would hope it would. And it just got to that point. And then, some of the things that had Bobby Portis's blow up during the in-season tournament, Giannis came out and said that, it's funny, Giannis came out and said that we all got to be better. The coaching staff must be better. The equipment manager must be better. I must be better. That night we played against Utah, I got on the air, I'm like, broadcasters, we got to be better. Everybody's got to be. We get ready to turn this stuff around. We got down like 30 in the first half. And then that's when it was like, for me, a disconnect. Like, what's going on? I don't know what these guys are. Now, next game, Boston, later that week, blew them out. Played great. So I just think management felt it was time to, at this point in the season, just kind of bite the bullet, make the tough decision, and bring in a guy that's had 24 years of head coaching experience in the NBA. Has had some success as a champion with the Celtics, and just knows the NBA kind of ropes and lingo and parlance. And so we'll see how it's been fascinating watching it kind of unfold. I don't know where it's going to lead, but it's been fascinating. You never know. You never know.
So do you think Adrian would have been better with a younger team?
Oh, without question. If we were the Orlando Magic or one of these young up-and-coming teams, I still think he could coach in the NBA. He's an outstanding coach, outstanding person, got his PhD in organizational leadership. But, the first kind of sign was coming in and changing our defense and having Brook Lopez blitz on the perimeter at 7'1", 290 pounds with a 7'6" wingspan, second best shot blocker in the league last year, second for Defensive Player of the Year. Got Brook out there trying it, but with little success. After about 2 or 3 weeks in, I think it was Chris Middleton, Giannis, maybe even Brook came to Adrian and said, look, let's get Brook back into that drop defense that he was so successful doing last year. And so Adrian said, hey, I am no fool. I'm going to listen to this, put him back in drop. That next game against the Knicks, he had 9 block shots. And so it's just little things like that, little adjustments like that, he was trying to do something. You come into a new situation, you want to put your own mark on it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm the new coach, so we're going to, do things differently than the old regime. Well, the old regime, Budenholzer, our defense was top 5 for the last 4 or 5 years. Offense was really solid. So my opinion is that you don't have to throw out everything. You come in and tweak a couple of things here and there, try something different, put your own personality, your own style on it. But, it didn't work. I think the guys, if you were there, you get that sense that something wasn't right. Just in the huddles and everybody's doing their own thing and everybody's talking and nobody's, it was just a real non-productive vibe that you picked up on that I thought made the change necessary.
So I got another question. So even though there was 30-13 at the time,
yeah,
winning doesn't solve those things?
Well, it's
right? If they was 13-30,
no, without question. But
everybody expect the change.
But again, easy schedule.
I understand, but it's still the NBA though.
Yeah, it's still the NBA, but it's the way that you're winning. Teams that we should be blowing out, it's a struggle. We've got to come back to beat I forgot who it was, but one of these teams that was at the bottom of the league. It had us down, Detroit. We got to come back to beat the Pistons. We go to Detroit to play the Pistons back-to-back, and it's a struggle each game while they're losing. They're missed losing 25, 26 in a row. And again, it's the NBA, and the talent is there on a given night for anybody to compete, but you could just get the sense that the team wasn't buying in, in terms of what he was trying to do.
I understand.
But isn't that a personal problem for each other, right? Because I remember when Eddie Jordan came and he put the Princeton in, right?
Yeah.
The same offense they had, right? And we didn't buy into it. Right? Horrible. Like, this is a horrible offense, coach. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is horrible. Like, this is not how I play basketball. This is, we sitting here passing, people touching the ball that they shouldn't be touching the ball at the wrong times, right? And realizing he's not going nowhere. He just got the job. I'm new. So at the end of the day, it didn't work. All the new things that was trying to be put in, it didn't work. So he said, here's the playbook, learn it. And I said, well, can I change some shit in here that I see to fit us as a team? Like, we have, we don't have, Chris Webber and them that make it back pass. That's not our team. So can I change it a little bit? And he said, do it. So I took the playbook the whole time and then ended up changing it. And then the same team, the very next year, we added Antoine Jameson that actually helped, right, relieve some of the backdoor problems that we were having. So as a team, if you failed last year and he's trying to implement something new.
But we didn't fail last year.
But in a sense, you didn't win last year.
Well, we did, but Giannis got hurt. Giannis missed 2.5 games against Miami.
But see, that's the problem.
If he wouldn't have got hurt in that series, I'm telling you, we beat Miami in the first round. Now, how much further we would have gone, could we have beaten Boston to get to the finals? I don't know. But I really believe in my heart we could have beat Miami with Giannis being healthy.
Okay, but see, that's the delusion that we have sometimes as just humans, right? We did lose.
Right, without Giannis.
Right, without Giannis.
2.5 games.
Right, so if you say, so let's bring back Giannis and say we would have went there. Then why fire the coach? So that means the coach didn't do nothing wrong either.
No.
So you fired a coach knowing that if y'all would have been healthy, y'all would have probably won.
Well, how long did Eddie Jordan last with you guys? Did he have a lot of success?
Yeah, we had what, 4, 5, 6 years.
And Eddie's a good man.
So you fired a coach that lets you know that you need to change anyway. So the guy you bring in, if he sees that we could do this better, you have to give it some time. So sometimes we just go into situations that we don't like change. Like if I like sitting back here, right, saving my energy, you come to me. Right now, you want me to come blitz and hard show and do all this, and that's not what I want to do.
Right.
I'm
give it half.
I'm gonna give it half the shit anyway. See, coach, this shit don't work. He keep going around.
Go give me the fake hustle.
Yeah, you go.
but I was seeing a lot of that. It was a lot of that. It was a lot of. But even Budenholzer. Now the knock on Coach Budenholzer, I thought was excellent, but was that it was adjustments. Just kind of. He had this mindset, and I forget what he called it, but it was a corporate kind of an approach where you don't change. You just stick to what you're doing. Come hell or high water, success or failure, you got to believe in it. You stick to it, and so that was something that not so much the players, maybe ownership. I know the fan base didn't like it. They wanted more change. They wanted him to play younger players and develop younger players, and he was the kind of a guy that I'm rolling with my older vets, and that's kind of how Doc has been so far. So he'd been there 5 years, and it's always something that when the players start tuning you out at a certain point, ownership thinks that it's time to go in another direction. Yeah, go ahead.
No, this is a young guys' league.
Yeah,
So
without question.
You got to play young guys.
Well, I wholeheartedly concur.
You got to play.
And look, you can't roll with them maybe in the finals or the Eastern Conference, but. January, February, March, when you want to give your old vets' legs a little chance to rest a little bit. I mean, and then you've got to start developing them, in my opinion, out of training camp and play them, in a little bit in December, January. So by the time Andre Jackson Jr. or Marshawn Beauchamp or A.J. Green has been really good.
If I need you, you're ready.
You're ready. And I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Instead of coming into January and you coming into January and you got 22 DNPs.
Well, but to your point, so the teams that killed us this year, they was going up and down, and every time make or miss, they just pushing it up the floor. So we got our, Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez and Dame. I mean, some of our 30-plus-year-old guys,
They can't go there.
and Miami did that to us the other night. They came in. We had just beaten Denver on Monday night. They came in Tuesday night, and, man, they just transitioned us. They just played fast. Nikola Jovic looked like Nikola Jokic, just lighting us up and beating us down the floor, getting to his spots. We close out. They beat us, kick, And so, we are a work in progress. Progress, not perfection.
So what's the difference between, let's say, Doc and Adrian? So, like, even with Adrian, you're trying to implement new stuff, and they're rejecting it. Now, the problem with the new coach is
it's old stuff.
I need to implement my stuff, and if they don't like it, they're going to reject it. Now, Doc is on the time ticker, and this is why I first said he can't win here. The reason he can't win here is when he comes in, he's going to look at that roster, think about he's on the watch list.
Right.
So I'm not going to gamble as much as a coach. I'm going to try to cut my rotation down, and I'm going to play safe basketball. Safe basketball for that. You're not going to win, and that's the problem because you need to experiment to see who can do what. Now you sitting here there used to be a 9-man rotation. Now that shit's a 7-man rotation because you want to try to collect these wins up to make yourself look good.
But understand this about Doc and where he is in his career. I don't know what his contract is. Let's just say it's
$40 million.
That's like 3 years,
3 years, $40 million.
We know. $40 million for 3 years.
3 years. We know it.
Let's just say it's $40 million for 3. So
13.3 a year.
Okay. So, and if they fire me, what happens? I don't get that money?
Yeah, you get it.
Okay, so I'm guaranteed $40 million for 3 years. That's not going to put and I've been around 24 years. Not like I'm just some new coach got to prove. I won a championship. I've had some success. I've had a lot of failures, up 3-1, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think it's that same kind of and that's the thing. When you're a veteran coach like Doc, 62 years old, a Milwaukee guy at Marquette, you're coming in and hoping that what you want to implement. Now, he's got 2 great assistants, Dave Yeager. I loved him since he was with Memphis, Sacramento. I thought he did a really good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good you can tell by the way his teams play. That this guy can coach. Maybe wasn't ready to take him to the next level. Who knows? Rex Kalamian played or coached with the Clippers with Doc. He's been around forever. So he's got a good staff that he brought in with him. And so I just think with Doc, it's like, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to give it my best shot, and if these guys respond, and the guys know that. Like, they look, y'all done got rid of 1 coach, 2 coaches, actually, Budenholzer and Adrian Griffin after 43 games with a 30-13 record. Now, the onus is on you to embrace what this man has done. We done got rid of 2 guys for you. Yeah. Now, here comes the 3rd in with a nice resume, got all the background they were looking for in terms of being a local guy and all the success he had at Marquette. Now, the onus is, it puts the pressure on the players now. What y'all gonna do? And so Doc's thing is he wants to simplify what we're doing so that the players don't have to think as much. They can play with more fire. And you could see that was an issue before. And then he wants to stop talking about it and be about it. Stop all this like, yeah, we want to be champions. We want to win. Forget about all that. Get out there and play like you want to be a championship team. So whether or not it's embraced by the players remains to be seen, but that's what makes it fascinating.
So let's talk a little bit about Damian Lillard, still trying to find his rhythm with the team.
Yeah.
What do Dame and the Bucks need to do after the break to get him right?
You said with the team or with the coach? You got to now. You got worded right, worded right with the new coach.
Coaches, team.
No, he was he starter, all-star with the way he was playing before Doc got there. If we revote right now, goddammit.
Well, I mean,
Brunson, you the starter now, goddammit. You the starter, Brunson.
It's interesting. It's funny you mentioned Brunson because with Dame, I mean, and I was talking with him a few games ago, and I was like, man, if I had to grade you based on what I know you can do and what I've seen so far, I'd give you like a C plus. Shooting percentage is way down, turnovers are up. Usage rate is way down. His usage rate is like 30 or something %, and that's like the lowest it's been in about 8 years. Mm-hmm. The thing that Doc wants to do is to not, cut down Giannis's touches, but this sounds great, but give the ball to Dame a little more. Let the point guard be your point guard. Mm-hmm. Giannis, you get out in transition, get out on the wing, the backside cuts to the basket. You don't have to initiate every single action every single time. And Giannis' usage rate is about the lowest it's been in about 4 or 5 years. So it's not like he's been a ball hog. Another thing I told Dame is when he talked to me about a month into it, he told me he was having some challenges, I'll put it that way, to figure out kind of how to play with Giannis. What's the best? I told him, man, this is around Thanksgiving. I was like, Giannis can fix his own plate. You worry about your plate. Don't worry about trying to fix his place. He gonna get his. Giannis is gonna go to the hole, get in transition, get some offensive rebound, do this, do that, get some steals. He gonna get his. Don't concern yourself with him. And then, as a point guard, it's easier said than done because you want to placate the big man. You want to make sure he's fed, gets the ball where he needs to get it. But with Giannis, you don't have to worry so much about that. And I think Dame got, and he told me recently that he sat out a game or two with an ankle or something. But he said, I've started to really kind of see what this team needs me to do. And that's to be Dame. I mean, penetrate, kick, use your quickness, use that little extra gear you have when you can beat a guy off the dribble and separate. You collapse the defense, now look to kick at the shooter. So he's doing a better job of that. And you mentioned Brunson. I'm telling you, Dame's defense has been disparaged and talked about, but this dude plays better defense than what people thought. I mean, he locked Brunson last 3 or 4 minutes of this Knicks game. I think it was in season tournament or whatever it was. But I mean, he got into Jalen Brunson and gave this effort that to me was like, okay, now see, you didn't expose yourself. I don't want to see anything less come crunch time.
So what we used to do when Chauncey came, right? Mm-hmm. Chauncey a great decision maker. Chauncey will get the ball where he need to get it to, but he can score when he need to. So we stopped throwing the ball to Melo in the backcourt. Like whoever got the rebound, now you make him get ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Make him go. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So now when Brook getting the rebound or Chris, whoever the guys don't want to bring it up, they can't bring it up. They give it to Dame instead of Giannis is always being the one back there looking for the outlet.
Right.
So now you make him get ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Now Dame got the ball. Now he can be the decision maker.
I think a few games ago, Brooke or somebody threw it to Dame. He wouldn't hit him in the back of the head because he's waiting for him to give it to Giannis. He's so used to this is how we've been operating.
This needs to be a conversation. I ain't saying you got to be 100% of the time.
Right.
But as a group, in order for us to play better and play different, get a different result.
Play different.
It has to be a conversation within the locker room.
Yeah.
That Giannis, we need you to get ahead of the ball more times, bringing it up, so you can go in the pick and roll with Dame. Now it's a better.
But remember, I said I'm watching the game and I pointed something out. I said Dame and Giannis do not know how to play together with each other because what ends up happening is when Dame does a pick and roll with Giannis, everyone knows Giannis can't shoot, so they're going to blitz Dame, right? So now when he wants to set a pick and roll thinking this is about to be Amari and him, and they're like, nah, we're going to blitz you.
Get it out of your
now
hand.
He's like, oh, shit, I got to give it to...
And he's not really good at passing out of Dame. That's not a strength of his. Bigs and teams are doing that. The real big, long length on him, coming blitzing him. And he has some issues kind of finding the open guys because of his size and all that. So
he'd rather stay with. So now he'd rather just do the pick and roll with
Brook. He loves Brook.
Because so now Giannis for Dame when Dame want to get off and get his shit going. Giannis is not his number one option. He's like, I don't want to. You can do your own. I'm gonna play with you guys. And that's what ends up happening. So Dame is consciously going away from Giannis pick and roll and staying here. And then when Giannis wants to play, Giannis is playing one-on-one. So what ends up happening is it's going to be what is really the betterment of the team. And the problem that's going to be is this. Giannis, you're going to have to play half-court basketball, right? Because when we give it to Dame and Dame is bringing it up, your fast break is going to be cut off. Now, that $50,000 that you spent in the summer to try to prove a point, you're gonna have to exercise that $50,000. Get your ass in that post and now you're gonna have me sitting here like
and plus,
he got you.
Well, plus
he got you, goddammit.
And when Giannis goes one-on-one, it's like one-on-four. It's walls. It's walls. I mean, and the good Miami, Eric Spoelstra. I mean, Giannis had one free throw, I believe, for the game. He had 19 at halftime, 23 for the game, 4 in the second. I mean, they built a wall and did it effectively. Bam Adebayo's got the strength, got the foot speed to kind of stay in front of him, not let him get to his spots. And every time he spun, there was somebody coming at him, and so it's better for him almost in situations like that against good teams, which you'll see in the playoffs, is to rely on Dame to kind of initiate. And now you looked as that weak side cutter to find your spots in there after they blitz Dame or whatever they're going to do to try and slow him down, all that defensive attention he can command. Now you've got some stuff going on that second side that you can exploit. And his jumper, he's knocking down his mid-range jumper a lot more consistently the last 5 or 6 games. It's starting to come around. His post-up game is a lot better. He's got the nice little jump hook middle. He's got this fade to the right shoulder on the baseline that he's knocking down. So it's just a question of, and this is where Doc and his staff, you got to earn that, how much, 13.3? You got to earn that money coming divide. And Doc has said that this team it's a long ways from coming together, and it's going to be after the All-Star break before we kind of get our feet under us and go on a little bit of a roll. And so far he's been prescient with that.
You better be careful where y'all, listen, that first round matchup.
Yeah.
Can't let too many go and you fuck around and slip and you got the wrong matchup in the first round.
Well, right now, there's a point where we were 3 and Indiana was 6. And I looked at that and I was like, ooh, we don't want that.
Yeah, that's right.
No, what's funny is it's Giannis, right? Like, after this season, he should look at how Miami plays him. Mm-hmm. How do they keep stopping me personally? Right? I'm having trouble with this team. What are they doing? So when he thinks about this is the best team defense that I face.
Right.
Let me watch it. Let me break down the film so I can work on my game
see where my advantage. See where I can gain an advantage against them.
This is the person. This ain't a person. This is a team that has your number. That means you have the blueprint to how to get better.
Right.
Once you defeat them, there's really nothing that can stop you. Right, so if you need to say, all right, I can post him up here, I can cut here, this is where I need to work on my mid-range, you will start really understanding how to get better as a basketball player.
Well, and that's the difference, between KD and a guy like Giannis. I'm overstating the obvious here, but KD will pull that mid-range jumper 10 times a game if you give it to him. Mm-hmm. Giannis may shoot it 3 times, 5, even if he's making or missing. There's kind of a limit, and that's that confidence that you're lacking in terms of where you were as a mid-range shooter. Where you're now, you're doing better, but you still don't have that inner confidence that that makes you, like Chris Middleton, makes you shoot it without even thinking. There's still you can see him thinking out there and hesitating, and he'll pull it in it short, And I always say on the air, you got to let that thing go. If they give it to you, let it go, and live with the results. So.